Welcome, students. Today we're going to be making a name mug, a mug with your name on it or somebody else's name on it if you want. The first thing we're going to want to do is to go in and click on Create a New Design. So we're going to open that up and we want to immediately name it. We're going to be calling this Name Mug. So I'm going to click into here and call it Name Mug. Very good. Secondly, we care about size in this assignment. So we're going to have to change the units from millimeters to inches. That's in the Edit Grid button. And you come up to Units and you can change it from millimeters to inches and click on Update Grid. Great. So the first thing we're going to do is go into, pull in a cylinder into here. And very first thing we're going to do is make it a lot bigger. Right now, this is 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch tall. We're going to hold the Shift button down and grab it by the top white dot, and we're going to pull this until it is 3 inches tall and wide. So you could see if I held my Shift button down, it made all dimensions, 3, 3, and 3. Looks good. All right, from there, we're going to smooth out these sides. Right now, it's only made out of 20 sides, and we're going to increase that number up to 64. So that's nice, a lot smoother. Great. So we need to hollow out the middle of this, and we're going to do that with a cylinder-shaped hole. Now, it's going to need to be about the same size and shape as this, so we might as well, instead of doing all that work again, we can select this and then come and use the Duplication Tool. So if we click Duplicate, it'll make a copy, and now I can move that copy out of the way. And I'm going to make that copy into a hole. Very good. And then we need to make this a little smaller than the original. So I'm going to hold the Shift button down, and I'm going to pull this down 2 clicks while holding the Shift button. It should go down to 2 3/4. And I'm going to let go. And if you held the Shift button down, it made it into 2 3/4 in every direction. All right, so now we need to line these things up. They need to be lined up in the X or left to right direction, Y in the front to back direction as centered, and then we're going to line them both up with the top. So I'm going to do that by first drawing a box around both of them to select them, and then using the Align tool. So we want to line them up left to right and front to back centered, but then in the up and down direction, we're not going to center them. We're going to actually line them up along the top. Okay, and then we can group it using the Group tool, and you can see now that my hole has turned into an actual opening, and since it was lined up at the top and a little smaller than the original cup, it left the bottom as solid. All right, good start here. So now we need a handle somewhere. The easiest way to make a handle that I found is in shape generators, not in the basic shapes category, but if you go to shape generators all and go down to page 8, I believe it's on. Page 8 has this at the very top, donut slice shape. So if I pull a donut slice shape in, it will give us what we need. But we've got a problem that it's facing the wrong direction. We need to rotate it this direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on this. Actually, I'll use this zoom tool, and I can really easily see the curved arrow in this direction separately. I'm going to grab onto that and rotate it until it gets perfectly up and down or 90 degrees. Okay, it's a lot easier to rotate inside the blue circle there. Okay, I'm going to let go and click away. And now it is facing the right direction. Let me zoom back out again. And it's not where I want it to be yet, and it's not the right size, but at least it's facing the right direction. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to use the left to right mouse keys to get it somewhat centered there. Then I need to lift this up so the bottom is actually not underneath the mug. Good. And if I zoom out a little bit more, go back to here, and I zoom out a little bit more from the side, I can make this taller by grabbing the top white dot and making that taller. It doesn't look like there's still a lot of room in there. I probably should zoom in, and zoomed in too far there. I can come and pull it wider in this direction. I'm pulling the black dot out. Okay, I want to look at this from lots of directions. Looks like this isn't quite touching, so I'm going to move the whole thing in a little bit so it's inside the plastic, looking pretty good there. I might move this thing a little more this way. That looks nicely centered and looks good. So now it's time to group all of that. So I can pull that together and click on group, and that looks pretty good there. So the very last thing we're going to do is add a name to this. So we're going to go to shape generators, but this time we're going to go to featured and use that tool we learned yesterday, the custom font here. And I'm going to put my first name, Adam, in as the text. We need the inner diameter to match the mug here. So the inner diameter is going to be 3. So I'm going to just kind of click into here and make that 3 inches. And that looks pretty good there. And then let me see how many arc we want there. And the inner diameter, that's looking pretty good. Thickness, the text arc, we can move this left or right. So we can pull this around, I believe. And I may want to rotate this thing. So once I am done with that, I can click on the shape and I can rotate this shape. This is why I wanted you to practice rotation. Okay, and then I'm going to pull and move this until it looks like it is lined up with my mug. Looking pretty good here. And then I'm going to need to lift this up so it's kind of centered on the mug. And once you're happy with its location, we're going to want to group that. And you can color it differently if you want. And then looks like you are done. So there's our custom mug. It used a lot of rotation, holes, and 2 custom shapes to make that. So hope that helps.